Hello people, we are Tottenham TV, different setting today, but here for a Tottenham update. And to be honest, it's devastating news. It really is devastating news. What's the Ange saying?
Whenever I see a light at the end of the tunnel, it seems to be an oncoming train. Turns out to be an oncoming train.
To be honest, we don't even see the light at the end of the tunnel.
No.
It's just constant oncoming trains here for Tottenham Hotspur. We got the news last night from TYC Sport. Tottenham midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur will be sidelined for at least 3 months following his injury picked up against Bournemouth, and that has been confirmed by Matt Law today, who has said, he's going to be out for around 3 months. So, I mean, at least it's happened through January, so we can get players in, but it's just so frustrating, man. It just really is. Kudus out for 3 months, Bentancur now out for 3 months, and we await to hear the news of Lucas Bergwijn now as well. Yeah,
and obviously Frank has really used him over the last, since probably November time. Paulini has really been out the side. Bentancur has been much relied on. Whatever you want to say about Bentancur, there must be a reason for that. I think it's because he trusts Bentancur more on the ball to progress the ball forward and trusts his passing more than Paulini. Obviously, Paulini had a great game against Aston Villa, but he's going to be much relied upon now. He's going to be. And the big thing as well now with Spurs, with these midfielders, is the fact that it's not just the players we have out, but Paulini and Gray are going to be overplayed. They're going to get. There's a massive risk of fatigue. There's also a massive risk of more injuries. Just like we saw last season, injuries can lead to more injuries because you're overplaying the players that are left behind.
Absolutely.
And that's a big issue now we're going to have to contend with, especially in central midfield. And I think central midfield has now become top priority in this window.
Yeah, look, Bissouma's back now, so he's going to have to come back into contention. And Pape Matar, I think one more game he'll miss because the final of the AFCON is on the weekend. So that's the same weekend at West Ham, or we get the West Ham game. So at least we're getting those two players back. And on the Bissouma situation, he's been frozen out before he went to the AFCON. So he has to come back into contention now. I think like we got no options, don't we? Do we? Yeah, surely he has to come back in.
Well, I think logically yes, but depends on how much of a hard line Frank has drawn on that, and whether there's literally no way back for him, or is there going to be an ability to potentially make his way back into the first team. We'll have to see what Frank thinks, and Frank does. Obviously, we had an issue last season similarly with Reguilon. He ended up bringing him back, but he was very reluctant to bring him back. We'll see if it's a similar case with Bissouma. If there's just a red line over that, or is there a pathway back to the first team and how he's played?
The way it is, right, like Frank, we all know Frank, he's walking a tightrope right now. His job is on absolute thin ice. So I think he's got to use every kind of tool at his disposal right now, doesn't he? And I think if he doesn't bring Bissouma back, I think that's just stubbornness from him.
Yeah, I'd agree. But these injuries now, it's year on year that we're having these crises, 10 plus players out.
It's like 3 years nuts. In a row.
It's absolutely crazy that we're in this situation yet again, and these are long injuries that we're talking about. Kudus, Bentancur now 3-month injuries, and I feel for Bentancur. Obviously, we know his injury history, so I feel for him that he's picked up yet another big injury and it's disrupted his season yet again. But for you, is centre mid now top priority?
I would say I'm still looking at the winger situation to be a bit more of a priority for me, just because I know Bissouma and Pape are coming back, so we actually do have bodies there. But we have to bring in a midfielder 100%. But I think if you ask me if we could only bring in one player from now until the end of the window, who am I bringing in? I'm still bringing in a winger. But we need both.
You know what's crazy? Left winger's like not even a priority now.
Right winger.
And I'm saying left winger, like we came into the window, at the start of the window, we were saying biggest priority is left winger. That's like a must. Yeah. Now, I'm not even looking at left wing.
I know.
Like that's like, forget that. We've got much bigger problems now. We don't have a right winger. We've got a massive injury crisis in central midfield. Like even striker, Richarlison's now injured. We'll see how long that one's out. It's a crazy situation that I think our priorities have probably massively shifted since the start of the window.
Yeah. So on the midfield situation, Matt Malby, who is the head of Football London last night, tweeted out saying that Tottenham have stepped up their interest to sign former Chelsea star Conor Gallagher in the January transfer window, but Aston Villa are also keen and have a permanent offer on the table for the Atletico Madrid midfielder. Tom Barkley, though, did say that as of right now, Tottenham are not in for Conor Gallagher. First of all, I just want to bring up the Romano tweet as well, because he's literally just tweeted about Conor Gallagher. And he says that Aston Villa are on the verge of a club-to-club agreement for Conor Gallagher. Negotiations at final stages with Atletico Madrid. Loan with a buy option clause eventually becoming mandatory, talks continue on the player side now. So looks like that's pretty much a moot point, to be honest, to be talking about. But would you take that player? Because we all know that that's not the profile that we wanted coming into the window. But with all these injuries, I guess like beggars can't be choosers, right? We just need bodies.
I think we're not going to get anyone better than Conor Gallagher, to be honest, if that's the reality in this window. So I 100% would have taken him. The fact that we've missed out on him, looks like.
Well, he says there's a club-to-club agreement. All we need to do is get a club-to-club agreement and convince him to come.
Yeah, but
harder said than done.
And also, I think he'd rather join Villa than Tottenham, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. So I think he might as well move on. We know when he was at Chelsea, we were very interested, and he seemed very reluctant to come to Spurs. So I think forget about Conor. I think maybe it can force us to be a bit more creative, maybe find someone who's a bit more suited to what we need. But I think with Bentancur out, with Bergvall maybe out, I wouldn't even say we don't need Gallagher, to be honest. So I think Gallagher kind of midfielder, I think it might be on the cards as well. We might need two at this current rate. Yeah. Definitely someone who's better passing, and that's got to be the priority. Someone who's a good progressive passer. Gallagher doesn't quite fit that. So I'm not that unhappy that we missed out on him, but I would have definitely taken him.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very frustrating. I saw a report on Twitter, I don't know how reliable it was, from an ITK or whatever, saying that Spurs' transfer policy in this January transfer window is to go for players that are looking to get into World Cup squads that are struggling for minutes right now.
That's a horrible policy. Why would you do that?
But when you look at it, right, we've spoken about the kind of...
That is horrible.
Yeah, but we've spoken about the issue that we're going to find it hard to convince players to
No,
come.
it's true. No, and that is, I think that is fair. But if you're looking at an idealistic standpoint, that is a horrible policy to be approaching.
But with the situation that we're in, I guess, like, what else? What other options?
Look, we've got to be creative. But again, you're looking at players who are out of favour, who are looking for minutes to get into their World Cup squad. You don't want someone to come here because they're looking to get to the World Cup. You want someone to come here because they want to play for Tottenham and they believe in our project. But it's hard to find.
We're open to like a lot of loan moves this January.
Yeah, I think it will be loans, to be honest.
Dean Joe Soccer is reporting that Tottenham are interested in Manchester City winger Oscar Bobb. I said to you when we were linked with Savinho's, I bet you we go for Oscar Bobb in this January, and it looks as though that might be the case. Well, we know that Semenyo has come into Manchester City, and they're going to look to, lose a winger. It won't be Marmoush. It won't be Savinho, and it most likely will be Oscar Bobb.
Well, Savinho's out for 2 months, so that's also a big injury. I know Bobb is also currently injured, but I don't know how serious it is. As I said, he's
back in a week or two. Okay,
so that's all right. I know he's a good quality player. Is he ready for Tottenham to be our starting winger right now? Probably not. But I mean, I was really impressed with him a couple of years ago when he broke into the team, and he was coming off the bench and doing some really good things. Since his injury, hasn't quite looked the same player just yet, but he is still young, and players of his age have recovered from these serious injuries and gone on to be very, very good players. Look at Wirtz, he suffered a big ACL and then came back and was brilliant. So I think Bobb will need time. He's still young, but he's not like a youngster. He's 22, so he's not a teenager.
Still fairly young, mate.
He's young.
Same age as Javi.
Yeah. Who's young, but look how much Javi's done in his career compared to Bobb. Bobb is a player who, at his age, actually isn't that experienced.
Yeah,
and that's the issue, I guess, from that point of view.
Tell's probably more experienced than Oscar Bobb.
Yeah, I would say so. So, even Odebear, you might say. So, I think, does Bobb have a higher ceiling than the players that you just mentioned? Maybe. But unfortunately, right now, it's tough to sign a player. I think maybe a loan, because we need two wingers, let's be honest. Right now.
Let's start with one.
So if we get a loan deal, I'm not against it, but we need a proper winger who we're convinced right now can step in our starting 11 and really take the attacking options to the next level. Bobb doesn't represent that. But if Bobb...
Put it this way, can you see us getting anyone better than Bobb right now?
No. Unless we go big on Ndai, maybe get him in somehow. Get Brahim Diaz. I think those two are better than Bobb, but it's slim pickings, especially a player who can convince to come to Tottenham. I would take Bobb on loan if we're getting another one. I wouldn't take him as our main winger signing.
Yeah. To be honest, I probably would. I would take him as our main winger signing, and then I'd still hold out hope for us to sign another winger by the end of the window. But look, I like Bobb. I like the qualities that he brings. I think if you would have asked me a few weeks ago, I probably would have said no. But as of now, I think we're just desperate. We're just desperate for bodies to come in and help us kind of change the season, turn the season around. So I think I would take him, to be honest. On Matisse Tell, just same kind of updates keep happening every single day. This one from Ed Aaron saying, there is no suggestion that Matthias Tel is looking to leave Tottenham permanently, but he would be open to a loan move as he would like the opportunity to build some momentum in his career. And I mean, like, surely he's looking at it right now at Tottenham being like, this is my biggest chance to build momentum at Tottenham.
Yeah, I don't think we let him go, and I think right now he started 3 games in a row, and 3 games where he's played pretty well. So I don't see him coming out of the team anytime soon. We don't have the options to change him anyway. We desperately need him, and he's looking good. He's looking bright. There's no need to take him out of the team, so I think he's going to get the game time he's looking for. There's really no need for him to go out on loan. There's no need for him to go anywhere else, and Tottenham would be stupid to let him go on top of that. Yeah. So I think right now it's got to be a non-story, to be honest. I really hope it's a non-story. It is a story that won't go away, though. So that's a bit annoying.
Every day they're talking about it.
I hope it's just paper talk, because I think it'll be ridiculous to let Tel go right now.
From his perspective, I can see why he wants to go out alone. Like we said before yesterday in the update, the treatment of him has been disgraceful so far this season, from start to finish, or start to wherever we are now. But in the last couple, I think it's 2 or 3 starts in a row, he's put in some really good performances, and he's really proving his worth for the team right now.
Agreed.
This was an interesting one about Lucas Paqueta, as ex-West Ham employee, West Ham ITK, fairly reliable, says that Tottenham were keen on signing Lucas Paqueta, but the West Ham midfielder has made it clear of his preference to move back to Brazil. And it looks like he is going to Flamengo now in Brazil, as he's gone on strike at West Ham.
Wow.
So he's played his last game for West Ham, it looks like. And you cast your mind back to the summer, when he had that deal for West Ham and he did that celebration, chucking the phone away. All absolute bollocks. Yeah, all absolute bollocks, as he's gone on strike and he's going back to Brazil.
Well, another player we're linked with who's gone elsewhere, it looks like.
Yeah.
Just in the same video. But I really like Paqueta. I think he's a great player. I think, for me...
Is he the player we need?
Probably not. Albeit, we need... Could Xavi do with some help in attacking midfield? Probably. So... It's not like a player who wouldn't be useful, and I think he's a number 8 as well. He can do 8 and 10 pretty well, but again, he's not really a 6. But does he up
Sometimes plays on the wing for West Ham?
Does he? Yeah, I wouldn't play him on the wing for us. Does he up the attacking quality, the technical ability in central midfield, and the passing ability? Yeah, probably. But is he? Can he play that deeper role? If we sign him to play that role, I think it might be worth doing. But I don't know if that is his role. But looks like he's gone elsewhere, so it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. But I would definitely sign him if we could, yeah.
Can you imagine how that would rile up the West Ham if we took Kudus and Paqueta in the same season?
That'd be great.
Especially in the state we're in as well.
Exactly.
Crazy.
That'd be fantastic.
And last but not least, Ryan Taylor Sports saying Anthony and Kinsty open a January loan following Tottenham's FA Cup exit. Clubs include West Ham, Wolves, Freiburg, Besiktas and Auxerre, who have all shown degrees of interest. Look, we've spoken a lot about Kinsty over the last couple of days. Makes sense for him, doesn't make too much sense for us.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. So whether Kinsty can accept that or not, we'll have to wait and see. I wonder, do we let him go on loan and then get a short-term option in? Do we promote Austin, or do we just keep Kinsty around, which is probably the most likely scenario? I think from Kinsky's point of view, he's now been at Tottenham for a year. This season, he's only played 2 games. So his development is probably being hampered, especially at this level. But from Tottenham's point of view, Vicario is the superior keeper, and is Kinsty ready to be playing Premier League football week in, week out? Probably not. No. So I think I can understand all the situations. I think in an ideal world, maybe loan him out and get someone in the short term if we're not going to be playing Kinsty from now to the end of the season, which it doesn't look like we will. But that's a tough ask. And I think from Tottenham's point of view, it's a headache they don't need, and they'll rather just keep Kinsty.
Yeah. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. So the state of play is that Bentancur out for 3 months. Conor Gallagher looks like he is going to Aston Villa amid Tottenham interest. Lucas Paqueta looks like he's going to Flamengo amid Tottenham interest. Tel and Kinsty both potentially looking to leave on loan this January. And Oscar Bobb with it's not even a serious link for Oscar Bobb, Dean Jones Soccer. So not many serious links of incomings as of yet. And we're sitting here on 12th of January. We need players and we need them quick.
Absolutely.
We really do. But let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Susan might be announced today.
Yeah. That's positive. Another young kid coming in.
Yeah.
That's definitely ready to come in and hit the ground running.
Come on.
So look, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, Spurs.